Over the years, I've developed a certain kind of character that began in Taxi Driver. A loner in a room, just sitting there, waiting for something to happen. He's wearing a mask, and the mask is his profession. In that case, a taxi driver. Or in the case of Light Sleeper, a drug dealer. First Reformed, a minister. And in this case, it's a poker player.
All in.
He's living a kind of a limbo life, waiting to make connection. And poker is a good metaphor for that because poker is just a game of waiting, waiting and waiting.
You count cards, right?
I'm not that smart.
But you win.
Whether it's De Niro or Defoe or Ethan Hawke, you learn a lot. You learn a lot from an actor. So I thought it was just right for Oscar Isaac. There's a certain intensity in him, a certain look, sort of blankness that you can read things into.
His writing, it doesn't just reveal itself, it doesn't explain itself. You really have to engage with the material. You have to recognize that he's written space for thought and for subtext and for subconscious, and something we talked a lot about with this character. He doesn't know how to be in the world, and so has really shut off, and he's suddenly afforded an opportunity to re-engage with the world.
You need someone to stake you?
You run a stable.
I'm always looking for a good thoroughbred. What I love about Oscar is he knows how to be still and yet tell you everything without saying anything. I'm still learning how to do that. I'm too old for this. Bye.
Bye.
That's what I was learning from Oscar, how to be still, be present, and still be able to communicate. That was beautiful to watch.
It was a kind of a learning experience for Tiffany, and it's a learning experience that she desired because she had never done a straight role. Now, I had worked with comics before, and comics have to be retrained.
He showed me how to be me without being me super big, and that was pleasant.
Tiffany Haddish, she's the kind of person where you can imagine people like quitting their jobs and leaving their families, just following her to be around her because of the amount of life that she sheds and gives out to everybody. And I just found her to be so warm and so vital, and I think she's fantastic in the role.
You have to be the strangest poker player I ever met.
Oh, you have no idea.
Oscar, he was doing all this prestidigitation with the cards, doing all these tricks and stuff, and like flipping them and cutting the deck, and then like the way he was shuffling, I was like, okay, Oscar, did you take a class? He's like, well, I have a someone who's showing me things. I was like, okay, that's what's up.
How'd you do that?
Paul is an absolute genius, genuinely wanted to give an authentic experience. And for someone who was relatively inexperienced in poker until this, he really nailed a lot of the feeling of what it's like to be a poker player, and especially to be a tournament poker player. Working with the cast of this movie was one of the coolest things I've ever got to do. That part was easy, that part was fun. The most challenging aspect was running around and managing this massive scene with 30 poker tables in play, with 9 players at each table and 1 dealer, most of whom had no idea what was going on anywhere. That was terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. To have to say, after a perfectly good take as far as story and acting and editing and lighting is concerned, be like, hold on a second, guys, there were some chips in the wrong place. I'm really surprised Paul never strangled me, to be perfectly honest.
You've been around him. He's a mystery. What's unique about the stories that Paul tells is they're about real emotions and feelings. It makes you think, and it's intriguing, and that's what I like. It doesn't matter to me if you did something bad in your past.
The thing with Paul's movies is that there's so much depth in them, and yet they're constructed in such a way where they don't tell you what to feel, they don't tell you what you're supposed to think or what you're supposed to feel. He investigates trauma in a very interesting way. I think he's done that throughout his career. That investigation, I think, is fascinating.
Nothing can justify what we did.
And to have been someone that can contribute to that vision that he has, just been one of the greatest honors of my time in movies so far, to embody one of his characters.
Movies have a habit of explaining things. You don't have to do a thing. I like movies where they say, no, we're not going to do it all for you. There are going to be some things left unexplained. And for me, I can give you a justification for either one. But the truth is, I want you to answer that question because your answer will be the right one, not mine.